Good morning. It's time for Precision Talk. I'm Marketing Manager Frank Olmstead with HTS Ag, and joining us this morning, Technology Advisor Jay Robinson. Morning, Jay.
Good morning, Frank. How are you?
I'm doing very well, sir. So lots going on. Of course, today is the final day for the Ag Leader promotions that they got going on. So I wanted to kind of hit on those again. And Jay, let's start with the big one, which I think is the $5,000, up to $5,000 on steering trade-in. So let's talk
Yes.
about that.
Yep. We've got the steering promotion. If you have an old legacy steering system, whether it's a black box ECU one for Steer Command or Geo Steer or anything like that, and you want to do a trade in, we can do that for you. And if it's going with RTK, the sub inch accuracy, it's up to $5,000 off with an In Command Go 16 and a brand new Z2 steering controller, which you'd be a lot happier with as you go forward in the next coming years. But that's a significant price knockoff for upgrading into a system that you had before. You're going to want again, but I don't know the lifespan on those. So this is a great opportunity to take advantage of that. We do have to the end of the day today, but that is still out there.
Absolutely. And the Z2 would still be ran on a guy's In Command 1200,
Absolutely.
but if you want to upgrade into the new Go 16 or Go 10, you can get up to $1,200 with that promotion.
That's right. Yeah, we do also have the display promotion that we have going on. $1,200 off list price. Plus, this is the big kicker that I think is significant, and I don't know if it got hit on enough. You get to transfer your unlocks. So if you're doing split planters, if you have different varieties that you're putting into the ground, or you got your planter set up a different way, that multi-product unlock I think is 800. And if you have a bunch of monitors that you have guys that you're doing display cast on, that's another unlock. If you have turn path on there, that's an unlock. So all these things that you've already got purchased and put on your monitor, it's just a one-time deal that you don't have to do subscriptions for. If you transfer monitors, we'll bring that over for you. You're not gonna have to repurchase that. So some guys might not see a lot of value in that portion because they only have one unlock or no unlocks, but the guys that have two, at least two, it's saving you a lot of money.
Absolutely. And in the new In Command Goes are also going to run kind of the future of any releases that Ag Leader has when it comes to every season really, but specifically planting. Because I don't know if the In Command 1200 will run the right path.
No, so then I'm glad you made that point because Ag Leader does have quite a few things coming up in the hopper. They're always working on something in the
Right.
background. They're always releasing something new. So the new In Command Go 16, I know a lot of guys it's a tough pill and they don't like it, and I don't like to have a guy buy a new monitor either if the one they're using works. That's a hard sell. It's like but this one's got a couple power over Ethernets that are going to be utilized going down the road. Right path is what you can only run right path off of the Go 16 right now. The new stuff coming up will need to use that extra hardware and that beefed up software that's inside that new monitor. So that's the main reason why they dropped that, and we've got that coming out. The In Command 1200s are still running great. They're still getting firmware updates, and which is all well and good. It's just if you want to get to that new stuff, that's why we're trying to run some of these promos, and Ag Leaders coming out with these specials because we don't want to handcuff guys having to purchase this monitor. We do want you in it. I'm going to be selfish because it has a modem built in. You're instantly connected to the internet, and I can see what you're doing if you want me to and help you out with any troubleshooting right there in the field. But this new stuff coming up is going to be pretty neat, and it's going to require that monitor.
Absolutely. And speaking of new stuff coming up, they've got a planner promo going on right now with some technology that they've had for quite some time, but still is reliable, rugged, and absolutely efficient. So the planning promo, you can get up to $150 off per row.
Yes.
So let's chat about that.
Yes. So if you, we've got our Sure Force and Sure Drive, and of course Sure Speed as well. So the Sure Force is your down force, and it's an up and down, does the down and lift to make sure your depth is perfect. So if you get just that system, it's $75 off per row. And then if you wanted to pair that with a Sure Speed or a Sure Drive, the electric drives, that's another $75 off per row. So you pair them up. If you do a Sure Force and Sure Speed or Sure Force Sure Drive, you're getting $150 off per row right off the jump.
Absolutely. And adding turn comp to a planner that doesn't have turn comp really really helps a guy, especially here in Southwest Iowa, where there's really not a flat, square field
No.
at all. We've got terraces, we've got waterways, we've got all sorts of obstacles that guys are planting around every year. I see a lot of fields on the way to the new office in Neola. I see a lot
Yes.
of fields with a windmill in the middle of it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, why do we still have a windmill there? And
Great.
you've been planting around it for 60 years.
Great point. And I think the data, I think this one came out of Purdue. It might have been Iowa State as well, that said that you're getting it's 12 bushels an acre less if you're not using turn compensation because of how the spacing is in the emergence and the growth. Now, I don't know, that's controlled environment. Everybody reads those stats and goes, yeah, right. Well, even if you cut that in half, you're talking about 6 bushels an acre. And that starts to add up depending on how your field looks. So it doesn't seem like it's a massive number right now. And I'm sure it's high, let's cut the, in the difference of that. But every bushel matters. And when you put that on there and you've got it on multiple rows, and it's doing what it needs to around everything, you're going to see a significant improvement on the ROI on that.
Absolutely. So up to $150 off per row. Again, the planter promo, the display trade-in, the steering promo or display promo, they all end today at 5 p.m. when we lock the door. That's the final straw for that. So if you're interested in that, if you've been thinking about it, and there's not a better time to really jump on than right now with Ag Leaders. Seasons of savings is what they're calling it. But
like
so that's good. But maybe you're not looking at that right now. Maybe financing might be a better option for you, and you can get the financing now until the end of the year at $199.
Right, and that doesn't end today. That ends December 31st when we lock the doors.
Absolutely. So you got time for that. So you've got these options for you. And if you want to learn more about the financing, or maybe you want to see some of the other stuff we got, you want to poke around on the new InCommand Go 16. We have those in Jay has one in his truck. Zach has one in his truck. Adam probably has one tooling around with him. You can always ask to see it, or you can stop by on Monday, because we're having our open house at the new location in Neola, 111 4th Street, right next door to the Buck Snort, right across the street from the Neola Rec Center. There on 4th Street in Neola. So if we're going to be there 10 to 2 is how long the open house will be. So if you want to stop by, check out the new office, take a poke around on some of the InCommand Go stuff, and just sit down and chat about what these things can do real number wise. Come visit us in Neola on Monday. So,
yeah, and we're going to be there as well. So if you have questions, you want to, talk face to face, you want to put your hands on something, and the guys that will be there are running this equipment. Brandon, Adam, I'm sure Kyle stopped by. They actually have it installed. So if you got questions about how does it really look on the screen, how does it really perform, what's your biggest gripe about it, what's the best thing? All that stuff can be answered. Everybody's going to be there. So if you have any questions at all, stop down, talk to us. We'd love to even just chat with you. So we'll
absolutely.
Be there.
And I'll volunteer Adam, because he lives now 3 minutes away from the new location. So you can pop up to his house and ride around in the tractor. And
we'll just bring that down as a display unit.
There we go.
He doesn't know that yet, but we're going
to. Right. That's the advantage of doing these without him. We could volunteer
right.
him for all sorts of cool stuff. So if you want to come see all that stuff, you can check out our new location on Monday. We'll have our kind of a grand opening, but it's our open house there in Neola, 111 4th Street in Neola. Again, you can always call us at 712-744-4468. Find out us more online at htsag.com, or follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, all at HDS Ag. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Frank.